What's up guys? Democrats that have been supporting monthly recurring stimulus checks are beginning to disagree with some of the things that President Joe Biden is saying. Let's first start off with the Republican perspective, and then let's see what Ro Khanna has to say about stimulus and inflation. Biden cast himself as a champion of lower inflation rates. He blamed everyone from Putin to the Fed for high prices. But voters won't buy it. Why could they not buy it? Why can he not defend and sell his case and position on that? Well, two things. One is, we know the inflation started last year long before Putin, and we know where it started. We know that it started because we had a number of economists, including Bill Clinton's Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, say if you pass the American Rescue Plan with $1.9 trillion, it's going to set off inflation that we haven't seen in a generation. Remember in January of 2021, when Biden came in, inflation was under 2%, and today it is 8.3%. What happened is, the class's definition of inflation is too much money chasing too feel goods. What happened with that American Rescue Plan was we dumped $2 trillion into the economy, pumping up demand while putting too much money out there and chasing too feel goods. President Biden's approval of the economy was 36%, disapproval 61%. Inflation was 28% and disapproval 67%. And the problem for the president is it independence? The swing voters who are going to decide the 2022 election think a lot more like Republicans than they do Democrats. 68% of Democrats approve of the president's handling of the economy, but only 9% of Republicans and 30% of independents on inflation. Think about it, only 54% of Democrats approve of it, and barely a majority of Democrats approve of his handling of inflation. Only 7% of Republicans and only 23% of independents. That's why the president's in deep trouble on it. Ro Khanna thinks Putin's war had exacerbated it. They can say that Putin has made it worse, but it's too much money chasing too few goods, and partly it's a supply chain disruption. Partly, it's too much money chasing production that has gone down. He thinks the pandemic is to blame, but what he thinks we need to do is have far more aggressive government intervention. President Reagan and President Roosevelt actually had the government buy off at the low points food and then sell it back to Americans at a low price. It's something President Reagan did with cheese. That's actually going to bring prices down. But the longer it seems the administration congressman sticks to that, or it has nothing to do with it, isn't that a fatal move for the president and the party? Well, Ro Khanna thinks that we have to be straight with people. We need to say inflation is a real threat. It's an emergency. We need to take bold actions to deal with it. Call out the National Guard on transportation, have the government intervene, try to buy at low prices. A lot of this was set in motion long before Vladimir Putin. We could say it came after the whole bust of the whole COVID experience in the boom that could inevitably follow. But to not take ownership of some of that, even getting it wrong, and how long this could last. Ro Khanna thinks if you pay for something, it's non-inflationary, but he is not for this moment. More deficit spending that could increase excess demand. Once again, he thinks we have to be honest with people by saying, yes, inflation is real. Yes, it's hurting folks. This is not theoretical. He suggested to have massive production where you can produce a baby formula safely. That's what the Democrats need to do heading into the midterms and to solve people's real concerns.